Let me paint a picture for you. It's Tuesday, 6:45 a.m. You haven't started your day yet, but you already got three unread texts from leads, a missed call you don't recognize, a quote you should have sent out yesterday, and an invoice from 2 weeks ago sitting unpaid in your inbox. Your first job starts in 45 minutes. Now, let me tell you the truth. That's not a busy business. It's a broken one. And here's the part that nobody tells you. The reason it's broken isn't your market, it's not your prices. Hell, it's not even your leads. It's you. You became the receptionist, the estimator, the follow-up guy, the dispatcher, the bookkeeper, and the trainer at the same time, all unpaid and all exhausted. So I built something. One engine, 7 connected parts, all running on Claude. It handles every single one of those roles while you're on site, while you're at dinner, while you're asleep. And the moment that part 7 finishes, it loops right back into part 1 and it starts again. It never stops running. So I'm going to walk you through the entire thing in this video. I put together a free PDF in the description below with all 7 prompts. You can download it and then you can build every single part of this engine for yourself. Oh, and by the way, if you're not familiar, just in case, my name is Enzo. I help home service businesses make more money with AI. So if that's something that sounds even just a little bit interesting to you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and watch the video till the end because it's going to be very valuable. All right. So that's it. Without any further ado, let's get into it. So let's first start with the self-running engine. 7 connected parts, 1 business OS, and this is all built inside of Claude AI. The first step is intake. This is how you're going to capture every signal and every lead. It could be from ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, referrals. It doesn't really matter anything that comes inside of your business. Second part is triage. This is how you're going to score leads based on priority, and you're going to route leads to different people who are going to fulfill that service within your business. Part 3, dispatch brain. This is how you're going to match the technicians to each job. Part 4 is field intelligence. This is the AI knowledge base. So think about it like a box that has everything that your business is about inside of that box. So everything your business knows, all the SOPs or rules, is inside of this AI knowledge base. And then links back to part 5, which is client pulse. This is just to monitor client satisfaction to make sure that your service fulfillment is dialed in. Then we're going to cover part 6, revenue protection. So things like renewal campaign and reactivation campaigns for your existing clients, because that's where most of your money should be coming from. And then lastly, the growth loop, which is often forgotten. So you need to be sending out reviews to your customers, refer, and repeat the whole process. And as you can see, this leads back. Again, a new lead comes in, it goes back into part 1, the intake. It's like a never-ending loop, and that's kind of the whole point of it. And then I'm also going to show you the demos of how you can build these systems for your business. So this is, for example, how the dashboard, the business OS dashboard will look like inside of your business. You have the intake layer here, the triage engine, the dispatch brain, and the revenue protection. So I'm going to show you the demos of how you can implement this inside of your own business throughout the video. So make sure you stick till the end, of course. All right, so let's get into it. But even before I start talking about any of these parts that you need to build with Claude Code, you need to understand the diagnosis, why your business is actually stuck, because you can't solve a problem without even being aware of it. So here's the reality. You started the business to answer the phones, you did not start the business to answer the phones, chase invoices, send quotes late at night. But somewhere along the way, that's kind of what ended up happening. So let me tell you where your time actually goes. 30% admin and quoting, 20% chasing leads, 15% scheduling and dispatching, 10% invoice and payments, and 5% training new hires. Now, obviously, these percentages can vary depending on what you put more focus into, but this is a rough estimate of how most businesses are split up. And then 20% is the actual billable work. All right. You have to understand that 80% of your week generates 0 revenue. 80% of this doesn't actually generate revenue. So you need to focus on what has the highest potential to generate money for your business. And by doing that, you need to remove these 6 bottlenecks that are killing your growth or killing your expansion. Bottleneck number 1, misleads. Leads coming from 5 places. And then you check them when you can. Some of them you don't even see. They end up being lost in your CRM. So you're just not organized. Bottleneck number 2, you don't prioritize your leads by value. Okay, a 15K remodel and a $150 fix, they're all sitting in the same inbox when they should be two separate opportunities and two separate pipelines, right? And both wait at the same time, that's unacceptable. The 15K remodel should be prioritized over the $150 fix, obviously because the value is higher on that one. Bottleneck number three, you have a scheduling chaos. You don't have a proper scheduling system. You dispatch from your head. There's nothing being automated there. You get double bookings. The wrong technicians get assigned to the wrong jobs. And then you don't even know what your arrival windows look like. And then clients end up giving you a bad review on Google because whoever was supposed to show up on site came late. And there was no warning before they even came to that site to do the job. Right? So that needs fixing. Bottleneck four, untrained technicians. Three is 50% turnover annually. New hires call you 10 times a day because they don't know what to do. You didn't give them the proper SOPs and knowledge base about your business to actually operate without you being inside of the business and giving instructions every day. And the onboarding eats your time. So every salespeople that you onboard, you have to manually train every single one about everything you know. And that takes a lot of time. Time you could be using to actually make more money, right? Do more quotes, talk to more leads. Bottleneck number five, silent churn. I'm talking about client churn here. Clients leave and you don't even know until they're completely gone, right? Your existing clients should be where at least 60 to 80% of your revenue actually comes from because they're the ones who already built the trust and you already built the authority with. They like to come for repeat services. And you have no pulse on satisfaction. And the last bottleneck, which is probably the most important out of these six, is you have revenue decay, right? 40% of last year's clients never hear from you again because you don't have any marketing campaigns or reactivation campaigns set up for your business. And they just end up hiring your competitor because they forgot about your business, right? Most clients, they buy from businesses who keep being in their feeds, being in their face, on their phone. Everywhere they look, you should be in front of that client, ready to have them buy from you. But forget all those six bottlenecks I just mentioned. The real bottleneck is you. Yes, you're the real bottleneck, right? Because you cover the receptionist, the estimator, the follow-up rep, the dispatcher, the bookkeeper, and the trainer for your sales reps. You cannot be six roles in one and still focus on growing your business. That's not possible. And that's the reason why you're the real bottleneck, right? The business that is completely reliant on you is not a business that can function properly. It's basically like you have a job and you don't have any paid time off, essentially. It's basically like a glorified job, a glorified 9 to 7, which is, sorry, 9 to 5, which is not the reason why you started this business, right? So I want you to take a look at this comparison really quickly. You have contractor A here and you have contractor B. It's a simple comparison. Contractor A basically answers calls when he can. He has only one follow-up attempt. His quotes take a whole 3 days. He dispatches from memory. He doesn't even remember who he needs to assign to which job. He never asks his customers review, and he chases the invoices manually. No automations on that end. This is the revenue, couple hours per week, right? 65. Sorry, that's a lot, right? This is a couple. 65 is a lot. And he's stressed, as you can see. He is very much stressed if he's doing all of this every day, every week, every month. Now, I want you to look at contractor B. This is who you want to be. AI answers every call 24/7, 6-touch automated sequences. Quotes get sent out 60 seconds right after the lead just requested it. The AI dispatches and it briefs your crew on everything they should know about the job that they're about to complete. They get at least 10 new reviews every month, at least 4 to 5 stars, and the invoices are all auto sent. So you don't actually have to chase down the leads by text or by call, remind them, oh, you have to pay, and then you end up being maybe going to, to court and get into all these legal issues, right? It gets complicated. This just makes sure that it's all automated, and maybe if you have to get involved, then you would know, right? And as you can see, the contractor who has all this set up, he makes way more money, he works less hours per week, and he's way less stressed. He doesn't have any of that stress that contractor A does. And of course, the common ground between those two contractors is they're in the same market, they're selling the same services, and they're pitching the same prices, of course. The only difference is a system that's actually running behind their business. So what do you actually need? It's not what most people think. Okay, it's not more leads, it's not more ads. You don't need to hustle more. You just need to remove yourself from the critical path. You need a system that runs in the background, whether you're watching it or not. So that means if you're sick, for example, and you need to take like a 7-day leave from your business, it's as if you didn't even disappear. It's still going to be running, right? So that's what I mean by whether you're watching or not. And what follows, what I'm about to show you over here, okay, this is essentially the 7 connected parts of a single engine that's always running for your business. Each one replaces a role that you're currently working for free, and each one feeds directly into the next one, kind of like a loop, like this, and then it starts again at the beginning. And part 7 loops back to part 1, which is that point or dot over here, and essentially never stops, which is what you want. The moment it stops, you don't have a business anymore. You have a glorified 9 to 5. Okay, so this is how the engine begins. It begins with part 1, the intake layer. Every channel, every hour, everything gets kept inside of one single record. But here's a problem before we even implement the solution. Leads arrive from 5 plus different places. Could be from Google, Facebook, Instagram, referral, friend, family. It doesn't matter. But what matters is that you check them at different apps at different times on different apps. Maybe some of them you might see immediately, maybe some like 4 or 5 days later. And there's others where you don't even see at all, which is problematic. So this is what you're going to set up. When you have any missed calls, or you get any form submissions on your website, or Google messages, or Instagram DMs, or referral text, right? What you're going to do is you're going to have Claude's intake engine. Okay, so you're going to build something called an intake engine using Claude code. It's going to unify all your channels where you get your leads in under 60 seconds, no matter where it comes from. And then it's going to all structure them inside of your CRM record. And as a result, 41% of jobs booked after hours will end up converting because they all end up under the same channel. It doesn't matter if it's after hours, if it comes from here, 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 or even a referral. The Claude will take everything or put it under one engine, and then it will structure and organize it within your current CRM. And this feeds directly into part 2. But before we go on to part 2, I want to show you what the demo of part 1 actually looks like, the intake layer. Okay, so this is you without the engine. I'm going to click start simulation, and you're going to watch these numbers change. So this is your missed leads, your captured leads, and your total leads. Okay, so watch. Your lead captured, missed, 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 captured, 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 missed. Okay, so let's stop this simulation really quickly. As you can see, received 11 total leads in all this time frame, right? Some were from Instagram DM, some came from a referral text, some came via a missed call, some voicemail, right? It's different sources. My point is you missed 7 leads and you captured only 4. Okay, this is without implementing the intake layer system with Claude code. Now, this is what happens when you implement it with the engine that we covered a couple minutes ago. Let's start a simulation. By the way, this is what you see in live time in your business. Once you build this dashboard, this is what you would see. See, everything gets captured, right? There is no more misleads. It doesn't matter if it's furnace maintenance, drain cleaning, pipe leak emergency, water heat replacement, right? You see all these services and all these leads that are coming in, and you see the time. They all end up being captured. So that's my point. And again, 41% are often booked after hours. This way, even if it's booked after hours, it's still going to get captured no matter the time. And that's how a real business is built. Okay, so that's that for part 1. Then, once the lead actually comes in, okay, and you've done this process, the intake layer, you're going to have Claude build you a triage brain. Okay, and this is the problem that comes before you implement this part. A 15K, let's say for example, 15K bathroom remodel sits in the same queue as a $150 faucet fix, as I said earlier. Now, they both look the same time and they both get the same generic follow-up. You treat essentially every lead the same because you don't actually have time to sort them out and prioritize them based on value, time, urgency, and all those other factors. So this is what you're going to build instead. As soon as a new lead comes in from your CRM over here, Claude is going to score every single one of those leads. It's going to score them by job type, by value, and by urgency. So those are three factors that it's going to use. If it's low, then it's going to send it in the auto pipeline. Claude handles that. If it's high, right? So if it's a high score, you, the owner, are going to get flagged and you will receive an immediate notification on your phone to reach out to that lead. And that's how you can distribute your time better. So you don't have to chase after low quality leads. You only receive the ones that are high quality. Okay. And I essentially made this table so you can understand really the impact of this by scoring criteria. Let's say, for example, this is the signal. So emergency plumbing, it gets a score at 10 out of 10. And this is the action. The owner, you have to reach out to that client now. Full kitchen remodel, that's like 9 out of 10. It's high ticket now. Something like a fence repair quote, which is very low ticket, the score is not going to be as high, so it's going to get moved to the auto pipeline. Okay, so you kind of get the system, how it works. You get the principle. And the good thing about this is you only need to set the rules once based on you, how your business, how you, the business owner, manage your business, because not everybody has these same three factors to judge if a lead is prioritized or not. But this is like the standard: job type, value, and urgency, right? You could have some other things that you might want to throw in there. But either way, you set the rules once, and then Claude decides every time based on your set of rules for your business. So essentially, you only see the leads that actually need you and that are worth your time to actually go and talk to them. So this is how it works. Again, let's go back to the demo. Part 2, the triage engine. You're going to see your pipeline value here for your business, your top 3 leads, and your response order. So now we're going to click on Activate AI Triage, and look what happens. You see that? So now your response order is prioritized. Your top 2 leads 45K, pipeline value 59K. That didn't really change. But now you can see that, for example, this lead is marked as emergency because its score is 99. Its value is 2,000. So now you have to do an instant dispatch. This one is medium, medium, high, medium, low. Right, so it ranks all your leads by priority of which ones you need to close the fastest. So you're making the most amount of money possible per lead, of course. Now that lead has been triaged, okay, it went through triage brain, it's been prioritized inside of your CRM. Now you need to build part 3, the dispatch brain. And this is the problem that it's going to solve. You essentially play scheduling Tetris in your head every morning that you wake up, right? For example, who's available, who's the closest, who has the right skills for the job that you need done. And you do this while driving to your own job, which is not how you run a business. Again, it's a glorified 9 to 5. I keep saying 9 to 7, right? So this is what you're going to have Claude build for your business. As soon as a job is confirmed, okay, Claude is going to dispatch that job by 3 things, okay? By skill, by location, and by availability of the technicians. And this is what's going to happen. You, the owner, you're going to get a confirmation plus a live ETA 24 hours and then 2-hour reminders until the job actually comes. This just keeps you organized and it keeps you in the loop. But you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be involved. If anything goes wrong, you will be notified, but it just keeps you in the loop. And then Claude is going to dispatch information to the technicians. It's going to give them a full job brief of what they have to do, the address, the scope of the job, and any specific notes that you may have included for that job that needs to get done correctly. All right. And this is what the customer experience looks before you implement a system like this. Let's say you say, oh, we'll be there like between 8 to 12. And then the tech arrives with no brief. And then it's like a 30 to 40% no-show rate. And they'll leave a bad review on Google. That's bad for business. Now, after you implement it, right, your tech mic arrives at 10:15. He gets a full brief sent to the tech by Claude, and then the no-shows drop to 50 to 70% at least, which is a whole lot better, right? And then the homeowners are also twice as frustrated by poor scheduling than by high prices. So essentially, they would rather that you be here on time and you notify them early than you having high prices. They don't really care about the high prices. too much. So that's something that you need to remember, right? And this is the demo for the dispatch brain. This is what it looks like, right? It matches every tech to every job by skill, location, availability. So we're going to run AI dispatch, and you're going to see how your available crew members that are here, you got Marcus, Sarah, Kevin, Rita, and James, right? You got their rating and you got their functions for each job type. And then you have the incoming jobs that your business is going to receive over here. So just click on run AI dispatch and you can see what happens. It essentially assigns every technician to the matching jobs that fit best for them, right? That fits perfectly for them based on what they're good at and based on where they work. They already work the most in their experience. And that's it. 3 jobs are dispatched in basically under 2 seconds with the right tech, right zone, the right skill set, and there are no phone calls or guesswork involved in this whole process. Okay. So that's essentially that much better for your business. So now the technician has been assigned to a job. Okay. So that's part 3. For part 4 now, you need to implement a field intelligence system with Claude, and it's going to solve this problem. Essentially, your best techs know every answer without calling you. Okay. Your newest hire, they're going to call you multiple times on your phone. They're going to spam call you at least 10 times a day. And the difference is not intelligent, it's simply having access to the right information. So this is what you're going to have set up. You're going to have Claude's knowledge base set up in 3 parts. Okay. The knowledge base is everything that Claude should know about your business or about running your business. It should have troubleshooting guides. So how to get out of certain situations, can be customer experience, could be actually working on the job site, it could be fulfillment, it could be anything else. But it should have troubleshooting guides. It should have upsell scripts plus pricing. So for your sales reps, and then it should have company SOPs and protocols. And these are the real field queries. Let's say somebody asked, for example, what's the upsell on this unit? Okay. It's answered instantly by Claude. Okay. Because it's one of those 3 sections, right? It goes, for example, in upsell scripts. So he will know what to say. The sales rep will know what to say. Let's say a customer wants off-scope work. The protocol gets pulled from Claude and it gets sent directly to the technician. Let's say somebody asks, okay, how do I log this inside the system? There's a step-by-step walkthrough inside of the company SOPs over here again that is sent from Claude's knowledge base. As you can see, a lot of these questions that get asked during the field, you won't have to answer them because Claude is already taking care of it. Because inside the knowledge base, once you set it up once, it has all those 3 access points set up for anyone who's working for your company, right? And essentially, the turnover in trades runs basically like 30 to 50% annually. This essentially turns onboarding from a time drain into a repeatable system. Because once you set this up once, everyone who has questions like this can just get the answers from Claude's knowledge base, which should know everything you know about your business. And you can set this up easily. Once again, there's a free PDF document down below how you can set up a few of these systems. So it's free to download. You can check it out. All right. So once the field intelligence is set up and your sales reps and your customer service people, they can get direct answers from Claude's knowledge base without relying on you. Now you're going to set up a client pulse monitor, and it's going to solve this problem specifically. Let's say a maintenance client pays you $3,000 per year. Last week, your tech was like 45 minutes late. Last month, you missed your follow-up email, and you don't even know any of this. You don't know what happened. And 2 weeks from now, they end up canceling with you, and then there you go. You lost that client, right? You lost $3,000 per year, which is still, it's not a lot of money, but it's still valuable to your business. So this is how you solve this with the client pulse monitor implemented with Claude Code. Any emails, texts, call notes, reviews that get sent to your business or from your business, Claude will do a sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is key here because it's going to determine 2 things that you need to understand when it comes to client relationships. 1, is it healthy? It means that you don't need to do anything. There's no action needed on your end, so you don't have to worry. And 2, is it at risk? Okay, now this is where you get flagged. This is where you get involved, right? Is the client at risk? Is there money being at risk that you could lose per month or per year from losing this client? You will get notified, okay? And this is basically how the client health gauge work. So this is how you're going to keep track of which clients you need to intervene on and which clients you're good for, right? 9.2, client A, you're good. 6.8, client B, it's like in the middle, but you're still good. Anything 3, 4, and below client C, this is where you have to intervene. Now it's like a red alert, right? You need to kind of reach out to this client multiple times until you figure out what the problem is and then you solve it. And this reduces client churn by just 5%, can actually increase profits from 25 to 95% because you don't want client churn, but you still want to make sure that your business is profitable. And by setting up something like this, you intervene before they leave and not after. So you make sure that you keep your existing clients while you're still, doing your marketing to acquire new ones. Right. So after you set up your client pulse monitor, okay, you've saved some revenue, you've saved your existing clients from leaving. Now you're going to implement a revenue protection system. And it's going to solve this specific problem over here. Imagine that it's March and you did landscaping for 200 clients last year, for example. How many have you actually contacted about this season? Probably zero. Like you're waiting for them to call you. 40% won't. They'll see your competitor's truck in the neighbor's yard, and then they'll call them instead. And you essentially just lost that job, right? You essentially lost it. You lost revenue for your business, and you most definitely lost your profits. So this is what you're going to implement with Claude. You're going to implement one, seasonal pre-booking. So you're going to reach out before the season actually starts. So you get ahead of your competition. You reach out before the season starts. 2, renewal reminders 3 days before the actual contracts expire. 3, you're going to do price increase communications. So you're going to draft messages that retain trust with your existing clients. And then finally, you're going to set up upsell campaigns. So for example, suggest add-ons based on the past work that those clients have already done with your company, right? Once you set all these 4 areas up, all these 4 campaigns, then Claude is going to build you a revenue engine. And as a result, your existing revenue is going to be end up protected. Okay, it's going to end up being protected and you're going to make more money. And as a result of this, of protecting your revenue, you have to understand that this is not a new business. Okay, you're not getting new clients, you're not chasing after new leads. This is existing revenue that you're just letting walk out the door before you implemented the system. But now that you do, you can close that door and make sure that you keep your existing clients and your existing revenue. So this is what it would look like inside of your business. 40% of last year's clients never hear from you again. This is how you solve it. So this is all the leads, for example, the services, whether they're active, at risk, or gone silence. So we're going to activate the reactivation engine so you can see what it actually does. And of course, here we have the recovery revenue, at risk, and then gone silent in actual monetary values. So click on this. And now you can see that this lead, for example, is now active. This one has been reactivated. So it means they're about to leave your business, but you saved $3,000 per year, or at least you kept that $3,000 per year. Reactivated. This one is still active and reactivated, right? So as a result, you have $0 in annual revenue that was recovered. You have 0 manual outreach. Okay. Claude does it for your autopilot. It attributes the leads that need to get reactivated. It puts them into a new campaign and it does all the work in the back end. And all the leads that are already active and keep buying from you, they're just active leads. They don't have a problem with your business, right? So you don't have to do anything for that. So now you have revenue protection. You make sure that your existing clients are protected and you're still making money from them. Now comes the final part, the growth loop, which is the most important. Okay. This is where every completed job feeds into the next one. And that's when the loop closes. Okay. So the job completes. That's the final step. 3 things must be fired at the same time. 1, a review request. So 2 hours after completion, you have to make sure you send them a link so they can leave a 1-tap to Google to leave a review. Finally, you have a second one, the referral prompt. So it's like a shareable link that you can send so they can get 50% off for both. Let's say they get another person, for example, their neighbor. Then the next time they do go with you for services, then they can get $50 off. or you can make it a or you can make it a percentage. It's all up to how you frame your offer, obviously. And then the last thing is the dashboard data, right? So your revenue plus your tech score, and then your cost per job also has to be all logged in. Okay, so you have to understand what your cost per job is, because if it's expensive, then you need to figure out strategies on how to lower it on your marketing end if you're running Facebook ads, for example. Okay, once those three things are fired simultaneously, then your Google rank is going to improve drastically, and then the loop closes again. It goes back, okay, a new lead enters because now, let's say they left a review request and they referred their friend. Now that's considered a new lead. They re-enter part one, and then we're back to part one, the end game. Okay. We come back again, the intake. And then after the intake is done, it goes to part two, again, all the way to part seven, and it comes again back to part one. It's like a loop. It is a loop. Okay. And this way the engine runs, you don't. And that's the whole point of this video. That's the whole point of this system. I hope that you got that at least by now. Okay. So you're the bottleneck. You need to remove yourself from your business and build these 7 running systems so that your business can run even when you can't be directly inside of your business or directly working inside of it. Now, I do understand that we covered a lot of systems here, and they might be complicated, or if you're a non-technical person, you might not know where to start in order to build some of these. So with that being said, I am going to leave a link down below. You can book a free consultation call with me. I'm going to give you an audit on which systems would be a best fit for your business, because you don't need to implement all of these, right? Some people struggle with intake. Some people struggle with prioritizing leads. Others start with actually growing the revenue. So depending on what you struggle with, I'll do an analysis and audit, and then I'll recommend which ones would actually be best for you. And if you're interested, we can go even further and actually build these for you, because that's what we do. Okay. So that's it for this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, a sub, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.